I know we have questions from Lucy and Sol and Mentong Laurel. Please start the questions. Lucy? Yes, please.
I have a question on a certain area. Actually, kasi meron akong experience about yung trafficking of beggars. Because when I was young, there was my mother's amiga. I forgot that incident before. No, may features naman siyang Filipino, paano siya madadala sa ibang bansa. Because that child of my mother's amiga was found in Hong Kong. It was in the 70s, I think.
And you were young at that time.
I was younger. Oh, yeah.
Akala ko 90s kaya. Just kidding. Okay.
Yeah. So anong
Paano
host country?
nailabas?
Paano naiilabas yung mga ganun? And that child was maimed. Pinutulan ng paa. Oo. So how? Hindi ko talagang maintindihan yon.
Siguro, part ng masasagot ko dyan, alam mo, ang data natin sa trafficking globally and nationally, kailangan malaki pang dapat improve, no? Hindi natin ma-establish pa paano nangyayari yan. Pero gusto ko lang i-highlight yung sinasabi mo na yung trafficking for begging, tina-traffic nila talaga yung mga differently abled person, yung may karamdaman, no? Yung may kapansanan.
May kapansanan na.
Kaya para maging credible sa trade that they are getting them into, no? So sa aking tingin, parang itong example na to ang hindi masyado pang napapag-aralan, ano? Kailangan sigurong i-establish ang mga modus operandi, no? Ang mga process at documentation na nangyayari, no? At gaano karami at anong bansa ang origin at anong bansa ang destination, at anong bansa ang nagtotolerate ng begging, no? At na-o-obserbahan talaga. So I don't have a specific data other than the global observation of the UNODC report. No?
Yeah. And another question is that, di ba, this illegal recruitment, the target is always somewhere in Mindanao. Paano na na-address yan ng IOM? Do you have recommendations already on that?
Salamat at tinanong mo yan, no? Kasi for the past 3 years, nagkaroon kami ng programa sa Mindanao, no? Actually, ang bottom line ng program namin is to get the children back to school and don't haste in working abroad without any preparation or competitive advantage, no? Ngayon, ang aming assessment sa aming pagtatrabaho, no, particularly sa Maguindanao at saka Agusan del Sur, no, na notice din namin yung ARM who has a parallel cabinet, no, meron din silang Department of Labor, may POEA ARM. Yung programa ng national agencies, no, on illegal recruitment, yung mga pre-employment orientation, yung mga labor market information, wala silang ganong programa, no? Ngayon pa lang siguro mag-uumpisa, kaya ang aming ginawa ay to engage the national offices, no, central offices to play big brother to this ARM programs, no? At hindi nila naintindihan yung Republic Act 8042, 9208, 122. At in-enroll namin sila, yung ibang kanilang mga opisyal sa mga seminar, no, sa POEA. No, the other thing is nandun na yung poverty push factor, nandun na yung conflict and climate change, no. Nakikita din namin yung presence ng legal recruiters, yung licensed recruiters, very little, no. So there is no option to go through the legal channel, no. At na-observe din namin, siyempre, lalo na siguro yung mga experts sa border control, no, for a long time, marami na ring naging age-old habits or tradition on movement to the back door through Malaysia, no? Which is in itself big, not only technical issue, but cultural, economic, social issue, no? The other thing is, yung mga facilities para ikaw ay magreklamo, no, mag-file ng
Yeah,
complaint,
that's right.
parang
Lucky.
malaking kakulangan, no? In many places, while we have an active IACAT nationally, even themselves, the local IACAT are saying that they are not as strong and effective as the national IACAT, no? So, maraming tulong ang pangangailangan sa Mindanao para ma-address natin yung kanilang situation. And for all these wars in the Middle East, let me tell you that maybe 80% of them are from Mindanao, no?
Yes.
In Syria alone, karamihan Maguindanao, Zamboanga, Sultan Kudarat, no?
So education is really
Education
one of the
is-
biggest factors.
Ngayon na-mention mo yung education, I like to take that also as a global issue in this discussion. Ngayong may K+12, no? Sana, Melo, yung mga ganitong issue, trafficking, no? HIV, AIDS, yung mga life skills, no? Ma-cover ng mga innovations dito sa K+12.
Okay. Yes, Sol?
I have two questions, both statistics oriented. Usually, yung ranking ng countries according to na tungkol sa contract workers is according to the size of remittances received by descending countries, no? Yeah, Mexico, China, Philippines, India. Pero ang figures na nakikita natin at ang ranking depende dun sa remittance na pinadadala ng kanilang workers. Wala pa akong nakitang figures na pinapakita ang ranking according to the percentage of the population which is overseas. Kasi pag sinabing number 1 ng Mexico, number 2 ang China, number 3 ang India, or balibaligtad, pag tiningnan mo naman yung size ng kanilang population, i-ratio mo sa bilang ng kanilang contract workers overseas, parang tingin ko mas malaki ang proportion natin, mas malaki ang percentage natin. Meron ba kayong figures na ganon?
Siguro, Sol, not specifically, I am not very certain if an IOM study did it, but somewhere in my readings in the past or in discussions, this proportionate ranking, no, as you explained, are cited by scholars, no? Hindi lang yung based on absolute figures on remittances, no? And maybe indeed in many cases, no, if you look at this proportion, it will make appear that Philippines can even be higher rank, no?
Yeah.
I like to also give you an example. Sometimes in a conference, no, there's a plan for a conference among Asian recruiters, no. Pag may conference na ganyan, usually equal delegates, no. Ang Philippines, especially our legal recruitment industry, they will ask for we should have a greater proportion because we have 1,300 agencies, no.
Yeah.
If you compare ourselves with Vietnam and the others, no. So maganda yung pinapahiwatig mo that in statistical analysis, itong proportion is very, very important.
Yung second question ko, statistics pa rin, dahil the Los Angeles Times did a study of this, no, in a series of articles. Pinaliwanag sa amin ng bankers na yung ating figures nakalagay, US ang pinakamaraming remittances papunta sa Philippines. So akala ng mga tao, nami-mislead na yung mga balikbayang nasa Amerika, mas maraming pinapadalang pera kaysa sa mga workers natin sa ibang bansa. sabi ng banker sa akin, yun daw nationality or yung sinasabing galing sa US Bank, hindi galing sa Amerikang bansa. Doon lang pinadaan sa sakali Citibank, ganon.
Western Union.
So,
Maganon, no?
Kailan makukorekt yun? Sana may magpaliwanag dahil para mabigyan naman natin ng kahalagahan yung mga OCW sa ibang bansa. Parang kulelat sila, bidang-bida yung mga balikbayan taga-Amerika.
Okay. Well said.
I am with you there, Sol. No, unfortunately, despite so many discussions on this, no, the information about the real direct source of remittances would not be technically feasible to get, no, as of now with the whole banking system. But let me tell you this. Alam mo ba, Omelo, ako ay family left behind by migrant, no, in the United States, no. I don't receive any single remittance from my permanent migrant family, no. So there is reason to believe that in the country, yung laki ng remittance natin ay nanggagaling sa mga OFW na regularly na nagre-remit sa kanilang dependent family, no? Dahil the purpose of the really working abroad is to earn and send home, no? Unlike yung many permanent migrants, they have also migrated with their family members with them, no? The other thing is yung mga seafarers, since sa barko sila nagtatrabaho, yung kanilang mga bangko ay usually US correspondent bank, no? So kaya ang seafarer is stable income, mas malaki ang income, kaya mas nag-channel sa US banks, no, when we see the accounting of the source of remittance.
Okay, Rick, let me just ask you this. Is it also possible that despite the fact that there are more Filipinos working abroad, we send much less remittances compared to those from India and China because Filipino workers abroad get lesser pay from the Indians and the Chinese?
Well, that is possible because you see, minsan yung when you talk about Chinese migrants, no, Korean migrants, they are not necessarily labor migrants, no. They are entrepreneurial migrants, no. So India, a lot of them are also self-practicing professional, no, especially in the IT field, no, software developer, they're service contractors, no. So it is a possibility, no. Yung sa ating deployment profile, malaki ang proportion ng domestic worker, no. If you say that women womanize or like a great percentage is feminization of Filipino migration, marami doon din yung domestic work, tsaka yung mga factory work, no, at other low-skilled jobs, no. So it is possible, no, that kind of analysis.
Okay, Mentong, have a question? Please. He's a columnist from Opinion and Manila Tribune.
Tribune. Anyway, I don't know. Si Ernie Ladores ba is still with IOM? You don't know him?
Wala na.
Wala na ba?
Si Ernie.
Since when? That was just 2 years ago
About
that I met him.
a year ago, no? A year ago.
Very recent. Okay. So you are Mr. Casco. Okay. Yeah, because I was one of those who facilitated the accession of the Philippine government to IOM. So my point here is, we hear a lot of a lot of benefits from IOM, but few people understand that the Philippines is supposed to contribute a certain percentage of the GDP or ano bang basis ngayon? When we acceded to join the IOM, we committed a certain amount from based on our GDP, I think. Ano na bang formula ngayon?
Ang contribution kasi sa mga international organization depends on how you are ranked as an economy. No?
Okay.
Philippines is a medium-sized economy. No? I am not at my level not privy to how much it is contributing to.
Okay. Well, that's the first point. No? I just want the media and the public to understand that we do contribute to it. There is a cost to us. Whether the cost is higher than the benefits that we get, I don't know. And so I think we should open up the discussion on that too. Ano? Because that was one of the main contentions nung mga nag-oppose noon, gagastos. Number two, since I was involved, I visited IOM in Geneva and so on, time ni Purcell, ano? And so on, Cory's time dito. I also noticed over time that ang nag-head ng IOM laging galing sa US State Department. Ano? I wonder if it is still the case now because I have this sneaking feeling that the IOM is a CIA front. Ano? Now, it's very useful for many things, but the fact that I observe nga na it dovetails US policy, ano, in many cases, I never really completely embraced it. Number three, itong, anong tawag nito, trafficking of labor, women, and so on, isn't this caused by the labor protectionism of the developed countries? While they demand from everybody else free trade, but on the labor front, they protect themselves, they have discriminatory policies, and therefore it makes it possible and lucrative to have this trafficking. So those are the points.
Please.
Yes, thank you for those concerns. No, well, first of all, I'm glad to know that you've been part of the witnesses, no, to the accession of the Philippines to the IOM years ago, and the IOM in the Philippines has a very, very special presence, no, because other than the country mission, which is IOM Philippines, the IOM transferred its back support office from Geneva to the Philippines, no, over a progressive period of 7 years, which started in 2003 and completed about 2010 or earlier, no? So which meant some 320 jobs for Filipinos, no? Because they see the Philippines as a country where the infrastructure is very, very conducive. The productivity of the Filipinos is admirable, no? So we have two offices. That's why our chief of mission in IOM is a high-ranking official of IOM. No? The IOM is a member-driven organization. Really, in the Philippines, particularly, we've been very prominent in assisting the country whenever there are needs for repatriating overseas Filipinos from different types of crises, no? Since the Gulf War and to date, no? We have also been very prominent in responding to natural calamities, no? In 2006, I remember we rebuilt houses in Bicol, 1,000 houses, no? And as I said, in Bopa, in Ondoy, in several other typhoons, we've been quick to work to respond to the needs of the Philippines, along with our UN country team members, no, the UNHCR, for example, and others, no. Our Director General is voted by the member countries, no, along with the DDG, and all the rest of the officers are following a career path, no. So we are our being member-driven is such that whenever there are programs and projects that a member country like the Philippines would like us to do, we gather the inputs or push from them, and so we do a lot of resource mobilization, not only from the core funds of the IOM, but other external donors. No? In many areas as labor, migration management, migration and development, trafficking, border management, humanitarian and emergency response, migration crisis management, migration information and knowledge management, and so forth. No? We find Philippine government partnership along with the NGOs in the Philippines and the private sector very uniquely placed, no, in the IOM because of the openness of the different sectors here to engage in some projects of common purpose. No? So we continue to do that along with the career staff of the IOM and our network of partners and experts. No?
Rick, I have a question. It's something to do with drug mules. What has IOM got to say about Filipino drug mules languishing in various jails worldwide?
As I said, since we are a member-driven organization, on that aspect, because it becomes very political, no, very bilateral, the IOM has not played a role in those areas.
But have you noticed an upsurge in the number of incidents over the past 5 years?
Oh yes, certainly, and that's why what we do instead, whenever we have capacity building, and public information campaigns, no, particularly addressed to would-be migrants or migrants who are already abroad, these elements are infused in our capacity building and education. No? We take examples from these cases. No? But in negotiation for release, it is a ticklish issue, very legalistic, technical, and political aspect where we don't normally get engaged.
Would you have any figure about people getting arrested for drug trafficking, let's say in the Philippines, how many foreigners have been arrested, as well as in other countries signatories to the IOM provisions or agreements?
Often we rely on the statistics of the United Nations Office for Drugs and Crime, no, because they do monitor these statistics. Though, however, even them continue to face challenge, no, in getting much more information on perpetrators of the crime, on victims of the crime, and so forth. No.
Okay. How do you look at the situation of migrants and those getting to be victims of trafficking, let's say 5 years from now? Will it increase? Will it decrease? Will the new laws help curb human trafficking, let's say, in the Philippines?
Siguro on this, I like to answer it in this way. No, let us ask ourselves, no, why are they not filing cases? No, because I would see, no, for example, when you see an increase in cases, no, in one country, it may or may not necessarily mean that there is just sheer increase in the crime, no? But you can also see it like there is a better facility to offer the publics or the victims of crime to file a case and pursue a case, no? And that everybody is doing their job, no? Because in some countries where you see there are no cases, you don't necessarily become happy, no? Because sometimes there are no cases because nobody is filing, they don't know how, they are not empowered, they are not being briefed, no? But why don't they file a case whenever they are actually in a trafficking situation, no? First, there is continuing ignorance, no, of the right, no, that what they are into is resemblant of trafficking, no. They do not know the merits of winning a case, no. They don't know how to go about it, no. They don't know where to go to, who will be their legal counsel, what the cost will be, and sometimes this ignorance can be building fear among them, no? Which will add to the fear that is already there, no? They are fearful of the perpetrators of the crime because some of them really intimidate them, also intimidate their families, no? They're also afraid to incriminate a relative or a friend who has been, one way or another, been part of the whole system, no? Who had referred and passed on the information, who had given them a loan at usurious interest, no? Because once you file a case, lahat ito lalabas, no? Ititrace, no? Then there is the priority concern, no? If I file a case, they have the impression that a case usually takes so much time, no? I'd rather find a job. I'd rather apply for a job, or rather than go back here and there sa court, no? And sometimes if there are facilities where to file a case, it's too inaccessible, no? And many of the cases are happening doon sa kalib-lib-liban, no? And pag nag-travel ka, magastos, malayo, no? Tapos, meron din tayong mga situation of the prosecutors, law enforcers, they need more training, no? The duty bearers need more training in handling a victim who would potentially file a case, no? Alam mo, one time when we went to Masbate with POEA, we did a very big training on law enforcement agencies, mga police, no? And I was very happy to see na ang daming women police who get interested and involved in the mission on the fight on trafficking. And after our training, like 2 weeks after, ni-rotate lahat yung police, no? So there's the constant rotation of duty bearers, no? Pag tinrain mo sila, lalo na pag trainers training, nawawala na sila dun sa obligasyon nila to pass on the lesson they learn down the line, no?
So back to zero yung Masbate.
Bumalik kami para mag-train uli, no? Ganun kami katyaga ng POEA, no? Dahil sayang naman, no? So these things contribute, no, to the challenge of really enabling the environment where cases can be filed more easily, so that we can run after the perpetrators, no? But back to your question, no? This is only one side of my answer, no? Analyzing why they don't file a case, no? Now, why do they go, no? Who are really vulnerable, no? How can we address the push factors, no, of why they go abroad, no? This means the hope of peace and order, no? The hope that there will be more jobs locally, domestically, or if there are no jobs, that there are ample livelihood, no, that will earn decent profits for the family, no? That you know, the unfortunate thing is these natural calamities, no? If meron ka nang conflict, meron ka ng poverty, wala kang job, wala kang livelihood, nasasalanta pa tayo, no? all this, no, push them on, no. So I can see that if these are not addressed, with our population growing, no, and the fact that we are a young population, we need our people to get educated, no. The other thing about our young people is many of them have the illusion that the only way to greener pastures is to go abroad. So that by hook or by crook, the earliest I can do it, I would rather really work abroad. But this is not good, because working abroad is not for the inexperienced, it is not for the uneducated. In order to be skills competitive, you have to have education. Nowadays, many countries would like your skills to be demonstrated and certified, no? And if all these facilities are not in place with the pace of the entrance in the labor market, then we continue to have a challenge with this criminal syndicates on trafficking doing their trade.
Okay, Rick, pahabol. Yung bang sitwasyon sa ibang bansa, pareho ng sa Pilipinas, sapagkat sa Pilipinas, the higher your education is, the chances of getting a job gets smaller. Yun daw, skilled worker sa Pilipinas, yun ang higit na kumikita kaysa dun sa mga PhD. Gano'ng katotoo yun sa abroad?
Totoo yan, yung mga skilled, hindi na to nakukuha sa dahil graduate ka ng Lasal o may MBA ka, PhD. Hindi na to nakukuha sa ganun, no? Ang labor market ngayon is, what can you do? No? What can you do for the company? What can you produce? No? And if you say that I am a technician, what is your proof? No? What is the experience that you really handle this kind of machine, this kind of computer, this software? No? Have you been trade tested by TESDA? No? And it's not only TESDA, all the other counterpart of TESDA all around the labor sending countries are getting all this challenge very much. No? So it is an important thing to address. No? Ngayon, ang isang challenge, when you don't have local employment or you have inadequate employment for which you can practice or master these skills, no? Or demonstrate this as a legitimate basis of your experience, then lalong yung competitive bid mo na-challenge, no? Even the recruitment industry are also complaining that there are so many job orders in the petroleum industry in the Middle East, no? But when your petroleum industry in your own country isn't like the Middle East and there are no jobs, how could I match the demand, no? But the thing to think about, how come sa seafarer we continue to be number one, no? While our seafaring industry, we have technical challenges, we have, being an archipelago, etc. It's because also the simulation facilities invested by foreign ship owners in the Philippines have been serving the gap, no? So there are ways to address these gaps, no?
Okay. You better watch out because I saw a plant. It's the Toyota School of Technology in Laguna, which will turn out to be much better than the TESDA-operated training center. This one is built worth 350 million just for the building alone. So this will begin operation by September 1.
That's very good to see. And actually, the private sector, since they are more capitalists and they are the stakeholders, they should really do what Toyota does, no? And not always just pinpoint on government or rely on government. I think private sector initiative is very important.
Okay, final word for this morning's Tapatan sa Aristocrat. Is human trafficking here to stay? That's the question.
Yes, let's not be complacent, no? Let's be realistic, no? How fast could we address structural issues, no? How fast can we turn around the economy, no? How fast can we be addressing basic education gaps, no? It's very important, no? In the Millennium Development Goal, I know we are improving in there, and that's why I am very happy that the K+12 is here. And I really hope that resources, public resources, not only in the Philippines but all over the world are channeled into human resource development, no? In many aspects, not only basic education, advanced education, but skills training and life skills empowerment, no, of the people, no? Also, we need to see governance, no, reforms, no. Of course, we are glad that all the efforts to arrest malpractices and corruption, we can see that there are, but there are still a lot of challenge in this area all over the world, no? So we need to have a more credible governance, no? And in migration, we need to enhance the human rights aspect of migration governance, the sensitivity to the youth and young and vulnerable, and improving the access to information and improving public and private sector services.
Thank you very much. Mga kaibigan, inyo po napakinggan si Ginoong Ricardo Casco mula sa IOM. Siya po'y gumugol ng higit sa isang dekada sa POEA bago na tungo sa ILO at ngayon ay nasa IOM. Karangalan po makasama siya, rain or shine, sa ating tapatan sa Aristocrat.